Hey guys, Shadowz here. Welcome back to another Gears of War 4 video. Today we are going to be discussing old game modes that have been teased with a possibility of returning back to the Gears of War series in the future. Recently, Rod Fergusson has taken a break from just posting and tweeting out martinis and food to actually discuss some Gears of War action on Twitter, posting a few polls here and there, with one in particular which gained a lot of interest from the community itself. Posting on Twitter, Rod said the following: "New poll, what multiplayer mode from the past would you most like to play? No promises, just curious." The first option was Submission, which was a game mode that made its debut on Gears 2, where Epic Games attempted to recreate the capture the flag formula with the usual Gears twist on things here and there. Instead of a flag, the actual objective was a living, breathing and playing computer AI who would shoot at both teams, being neutral, trying to defend itself, being deemed a meat flag. The next option was Beast Mode, which was introduced in Gears 3 as a secondary PvE game mode, offering a quicker wave-based experience compared to Horde, but also for the first time ever in the series as well, allowing the player base to actually play as some of the big baddies of the Locust Horde. The third option was Overrun, which took Beast Mode that one step further and changed it into a PvP experience. Introduced into Gears of War Judgment, Overrun pitted players in a 5v5 class-based game mode where one team would play as the Locust creatures, having to destroy objectives, while the other team played as human gears, attempting to defend those very objectives in a tower defense fashion. Lastly, the final option, with 42% of the nearly 6,000 overall votes winning the poll, is Wingman, which was a game mode that has appeared on multiple Gears games in the past, and a lot of people out there do actually question why it wasn't included in Gears 4. Now, while Rod did mention that there is no promises or anything like that returning, when Rod Fergusson goes out of his way to ask the community for feedback on Twitter himself for Gears, there has to be some sort of reasoning behind it, and not just for the sake of it, you know. So far, Gears 4 hasn't seen the release of any brand new game modes being added, and even though it was originally included in a description of the developer playlist, being a such place for season pass holders to test new game modes alongside the release of brand new maps, it isn't obvious whether Rod's poll is gathering feedback for modes to release on Gears 4, or whether to be taking feedback into consideration towards future projects, as obviously it is expected the Fergusson studio are fully underway into development of Gears 5 and maybe other possible Gears games as well, who knows. There is one question though that does arise from each and every option available, which is: what game modes would you like to see return out of all of those discussed in this video? Please make sure to leave me a comment down below telling me what you think. For me personally, I don't really see Submission returning, as that version of Capture the Flag doesn't really work as well as it is described. However though, Capture the Flag itself as a simple concept I do think has a place in the Gears of War series, because objective game modes work very well and just really well with the gameplay mechanics of a Gears game. Obviously though, it would just have to be designed the right way. Overrun as a game mode I don't really see returning either, because of the huge problem that ruined Gears Judgment, being that it requires its own maps that can't be shared with traditional multiplayer, and also I just feel like playing as the Locust characters and creatures is something that should be sticking to a PvE game mode such as Beast Mode. I could see Beast Mode returning though in the possible future, but maybe instead of just living in Horde mode Shadow, be reinvented with a new style or twist on gameplay, as it's a perfect casual game mode experience that isn't to be taken too seriously or too competitively, because playing as the Locust creatures is very much just about having fun and just having a good time, and obviously just enjoying the chance to play as the main enemy faction of the game, and having the Swarm roster available now, also including enemies like the Pouncer, the Carrier, even the Swarmac, will just make it 10 times better. For Wingman though, I'm still not too sure on this one, because while it did win Rod's poll overall, I do think that it will just die out fairly quickly as a returning game mode, but I do think the poll is doing a very good sign of showing that we do need variety in the traditional multiplayer game modes, as something like free-for-all would actually be perfect, which actually is the reason why I replied to Rod's tweet with that, and a lot of people seem to be agreeing with me as well. So who knows what the Fergusson studio are planning to do going forward. There is one thing for certain though, that the developers are listening and are interested in hearing what type of game mode experiences the community would like to see, which is always exciting just looking to the future. Give the video a thumbs up and share if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you aren't already. Thanks for watching, and as always, I shall see you in the next one.